That clunky transition is the perfect picture of what tonight is going to be like. Thanks, Dalt. That wasn't clunky. It just wasn't our best, you know? Love you, man. What's up, guys? How are we doing tonight? Good. Welcome to Salt. Happy end of the year. Tonight is going to be a mess. Let's be real. Tonight's going to be sloppy. Tonight is going to be fun. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, this is my last sermon given to you guys. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of this, just so you know. I want to give you a little warning. Like when I got married last summer, I started crying like preemptively, and I knew that was bad. I was like, crap, because once you get started, it's hard to stop. And then I was like, I do this thing when I cry where I start to growl. I start to go, and I like, and I try and just like squeeze it in, you know, and like get back in there, you know, like don't do that. And I was, you know, standing on the edge of the aisle watching my wife come down, and I'm just looking at her like this. And I guess her thought was like, what's wrong with him? Like, he's angry about something or something bad is happening, but it was actually the opposite. I was just like so happy that I looked like violent. Tonight, that's probably going to happen. This has been an incredible 6 years of being the director of SALT here. It's been an incredible 12 and a half years going on of living in Iowa City. Next year, my wife and I are moving out to Santa Barbara, California, and planting a church. We are thrilled about that. We are snagging Olivia Ginther to come with us. We are snagging Grant Cliston, the beautiful worship leader with the longer hair than Dalton. Just kind of hard to describe, you know, the difference between the two of them. He's the one with long hair. He's coming with us. And we're really excited about it. I was talking to my D group guys last night. It was our last D group. It's kind of like, why are we doing this? Why make that transition? Why do that? And it just kind of like dawned on us as we were talking. It was like, man, if God like told you that he would provide for you, and if you believed like God was going to provide for you, that he was going to be with you in whatever you did, what would you do? Have you guys thought about that for yourselves? Like, if you knew that God was going to be in whatever you were doing, like, what would you do? And maybe even a better question is like, what do you want to do? And this is what we want to do. We want to see this. Like, look around. We want to see this happen somewhere else for people that you don't know yet, and I don't know yet. And we think God wants to do that too. And just the pure possibility of this happening again, it's led us to say, we got to do that. And so we want to plant churches. We want to be on college campuses. And if you want to hear more about why Santa Barbara, why UC Santa Barbara is such a delightful place, if you want to hear how that's kind of become my wife and I's second home, or hear about the friends that we have there who are excited for us to come, next Thursday at 6:30, we're going to be having a little interest meeting or whatever in the equipping room where we're just going to share our heart and our vision for all of that. And so we'd love to have you guys there. If you're interested in moving or not, just come and hear about what God has been doing in our hearts, what he's already doing out in Santa Barbara. I want to make sure I say this before I get too far ahead. I love you guys a lot. I will painfully miss you. And this is like a breakup, but I'm still going to be living here for a while, and so it's kind of an awkward breakup. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we're done, but I'm still going to live here for almost a year, if not a full year. So you'll see me around. That's great. I want to, pretend like nothing is happening for a year. So if you could do that with me, that would be awesome. And I was thinking about you guys this week and how thankful I am for all you guys and just the people over the years. Wondering, as you guys kind of get older and the high school years are kind of back behind you, and You're kind of starting to hang up the letterman's jacket and close the yearbook. Some of you it's taking a little longer than others, but as you kind of like put some distance between you and high school, like, are you going to go back to your high school reunions? Have you ever thought, no, we got an immediate nope. That's in the past for a reason. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what I would be like with high school reunions. Like, the 5-year came up, and I'm going to be honest, I just forgot that it was happening. So I missed it. And then the 10-year came up. I'm going to be aging myself here. The 10-year came up, and I just like didn't want to go. And I don't know if it was bad, but I thought nothing good could happen. Like, that would be miserable. It'd be so awkward. It'd be people giving life updates that I haven't stayed in touch with in years. And like, let's be real, a lot of those life updates are going to make incredibly depressing. Like, not like mine was that exciting either, but like, I don't know, there's just something about it where it's like the potential for all the awkward conversation, I just like didn't want to go. And so if you're like saying immediately, no, I don't want to go to my high school reunions, no judgment for me, but if you want to go, let me know how they are. But I was thinking about that because I'm like, what if like this room had a 10-year reunion? Like what if all of us, you set your timer right now, you wrote it on your calendar, like May 1st of, was it 2035? That's like the future. What if we all came right back here, same seats and everything, and I'm up here and we're just like, how's it going? What would that be like? Would that be super weird? I don't know. I have no idea what it'd be like. I'm just starting to imagine it right now. I'm like, oh, that would probably be pretty awkward. I think if I went to my, if you call it like 10-year Salt Company reunion, like if somebody would have done this 10 years ago for me, it would have been a really weird mixed bag. I would be having conversations with the people, some of my comrades. I was like halfway done with school maybe 10 years ago, so think like juniors or so. Some of them missionaries. It's like, oh my word, like that is so cool what you've done with your life. That's incredible. You've been a missionary, you've been overseas this whole time, no wonder I haven't seen you. It's crazy. Some would be working for churches. Some would be making a ton of money. Some of my friends got really rich. They're really good at that kind of stuff, making money. Some would have full families by now. A bunch of kids, got married early, that kind of stuff. Some would be sad, if I'm being honest. Some would be depressed. Some would be atheists. The friends I had 10 years ago here. Some divorced. And I would just kind of be thinking about like, man, how wild is heaven going to be? When maybe we don't see each other for a while. And let's say 100 years pass. And then we run into each other again, you and me. And it's like, oh my gosh, how's it going? It's like, how have you been? How crazy, like, it would only be positive updates. Like, we would be dying to know, like, what has God been doing? Like, what are all the amazing things you've done, all the amazing things you've seen? It would be wonderful. Like, we would sit and talk for maybe 2 years about it. Why not? We got nowhere, like, wouldn't that be sweet? Reunions in heaven with your friends, the people you love. But we're not really living in that yet, right? Like the future still kind of scares us a little bit. Like we're going to have friends that we grow apart from who maybe their lives just kind of fall by the wayside and they get sad and life gets hard. And the updates aren't always encouraging. So if we run into each other, what do you want to be said about your life 10 years from now? What do you want to be able to look back on and say, this is what God has done in my life in the last 10 years? I was thinking about this night for a while now. I've known since August that this was coming. Miserable year knowing about this. It's been a great year. And I was just reading in the Psalms in, I think like January or February, and I came across a psalm that I've probably read 100 times but never noticed it because it's so small and seemingly insignificant. Psalm 131. And I immediately just God just opened my eyes, just like, this is it. This is what I want my last sermon at Salt Company to be. It is the most perfect, incredible, amazing, normal, underwhelming, average psalm in the entire book. And it's only 3 verses. That's fun, isn't it? This is Psalm 131. It says this, Lord, my heart is not proud. My eyes are not haughty. I do not get involved with things too great or wondrous for me. Instead, I have calmed and quieted my soul like a weaned child with its mother. My soul is like a weaned child. Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forever. Okay, here's where we're going tonight. This is what I want for this. This is my plea for you guys tonight. Whether we see each other again in 10 years or 1,000 years in glory, I want Psalm 131, the heart of Psalm 131, to be our life update forever. I want this to be the thing that we are talking about, the thing that is defining and marking our lives. Not like a awkward high school reunion, but marked lives with humility, joy, contentment, hope. Here's how I want to frame in this sermon tonight, kind of our theme over it all. Don't let this be true about your 10-year reunion, okay? I'm going to take a little negative stance again, so forgive me on that. But I want to just throw out worst case scenarios for us tonight. If we see each other in 10 years, I don't want these things to be true. Don't let this be your 10-year reunion. The first thing I want to touch on is how important it is to be truly humble. Okay? Verse 1 says, Lord, my heart is not proud. This is King David talking. My heart's not proud. My eyes aren't haughty. He doesn't think he's a big deal. I do not get involved with things too great or wondrous for me. Okay, David is probably the greatest king ever, right? Even if this is your first time here, you've probably heard of King David in the Old Testament. He was a huge deal. He was a great king. But he had a really humble life, ultimately, in the end, right? Just think about how he started. They were looking for all these other, all of his older brothers, oh, you should be king, you should be king. And they're no, it's not any of these guys. God has somebody else who's well, there's this one kid out taking care of the sheep, playing his harp. It's David, okay? He has a humble beginning. He's the runt of the litter. And God chose him out of his whole family to be the king. And then even as he's the king in waiting, what happened? Well, the current king just kind of went psycho and tried to kill him. And he chased him out. And David had chances to fight back. God had his favor on David, and David was okay, I know I have God's favor here. I think I have the right to kill this king. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just trust God. I'm not the king yet. He was truly humble. And how did his life play out? Well, his son tried to overthrow him. His son, Absalom, ran him out of town and tried to kill him. And again, David, out of this deep-seated humility, trusting the Lord, is I don't need to defend my own honor here. I'm not going to fight back even against my own son. David knew that his crown that he had was just this gift to be stewarded, a gift from God. David didn't feel the need to walk into a room and just matter. He didn't need you to fear him, even though people did. He didn't need you to love him. For a big portion of his life, people did love him. That meant nothing compared to what he had from God. He knew he had God's favor. He had the smile of God in him. He didn't need it from other people. He was truly humble. And so I don't want to run into each other in 10 years and have this terrible thing happen to you or to me, that you've been convinced one way or another that you are a big deal. Don't let that happen to us at our 10-year reunion, guys. Don't be convinced that you're a big deal. And nobody would say that. None of you would say, hey, I think I'm a big deal. It's awkward. It feels weird for you to even think about saying that. We'd all probably laugh at whoever stood up and said that. But in hindsight, looking back at your younger self, maybe you can look back with more clarity and say, oh yeah, maybe when I was younger, I thought I was a big deal. Maybe you look back on your high school self and how important sports were to you back then, and you're oh gosh, taking your senior pictures with the football, all that stuff. I didn't do that, but I bet some of you did. I remember a hard place to not get sucked into I'm important, I'm impressive, I'm a big deal is actually this. Ministry, stages, microphones, lights, camera, action, all that stuff. It is crazy how seductive that can be. I remember when I was, 22 years old, and I I was telling everybody that I was moving away to go start a SALT somewhere else. And I was going to be the youngest SALT director. I can't believe they asked me. Maybe I could believe they asked me. I don't know. And I was going to do all these amazing things, all these great things. It was going to be so cool. Like, we were sending out the best, and I was actually going to be a part of that. Oh my gosh. And everybody was like, dude, that's so cool. And I told everybody. I got some students to transfer to Minnesota with me, to drop out of Iowa and to transfer. And then God kind of stopped me in the form of some wise men in my life, and kind of in a very gentle way was like, hey, maybe you're not as big of a deal as you think you are. And they're like, hey, maybe you don't need to be amazing. Maybe you're kind of done exhausting yourself trying to be amazing. Maybe you just need to learn how to be faithful. And I have grown up in the church my entire life. I've been, I think, genuinely in love with Jesus since I was probably 9 years old. I really mean that. I've never even heard that word, is what it felt like. Faithful. Why would I be faithful when I could be amazing in my own eyes? This is so great that God's word never lets us get too impressed with ourselves, does it? If you've been reading your Bible for any amount of time, you never walk away thinking that you're a big deal. 2 Corinthians 4:7 says, now we have this treasure in clay jars. So that's like extraordinary power maybe from God and not from us. Don't be a clay pot who's so impressed with how shiny your clay is. Like, the treasure is not the clay. The treasure is what you're holding. It's what God has deposited in you. It's him. He's the one who's amazing, not us. And so, like, if you've ever felt like, wow, I feel like we got some glory tonight at Salt. Like, I feel like I came in here and I just feel changed. Like something powerful happened. It's not me. It's not Dalton. It's not anybody else up here. I hope what's happening every week is just like somebody's bringing up these clay jars and just breaking them open so God can get all the glory. And so you guys can get more of him and less of us. I think so subtly, especially in ministry, or as you guys leave here and go on in your life, it's so subtle for us to think God must increase and I'm going to increase with him. But that's not what John the Baptist says, right? He says he must increase and what? I must decrease. Do we have that kind of humility? This Psalm 131, David kind of humility. One of my favorite things Mark Arendt has set up here on stage was I don't know exactly what he said, but it was something like, oh, dude, you never have to expect, we don't expect you to be perfect as a preacher because you've never seen perfect preaching up here. Or he said something like, you don't have to be very professional because you've never seen professional exemplified for you on stage. I'm like, that's hilarious. Just like that self-deprecating humor of man, I'm not great. Why would you think you have to be great? I hope that's what you guys have gotten at Salt Company. Especially if those of you who are like, dude, I want to preach the word. I want to share the gospel with people. Great. You can do it. I guarantee you can. Because we can do it. I'm here telling you right now as an example of my life, you can do it. That's hilarious. Literally one time, I remember on my way to my first kickoff message at Hubbard Park, I had to pull over the car because I had to throw up. And I got on the side of the road and started puking my guts out because I was so scared to preach. That's not great. I remember one time, my friend Mikey was preaching up here, and he thought he was cool he thought a lot of celebrity pastors were out doing handheld microphones, so he was going to do it. And one time he went to, you know how you want to flip a page in your Bible or a book and you lick your finger? He just licked the microphone. But the worst part is he just went like this. And he looked right into the camera. Just. One time my friend Zach was up here preaching. They didn't know I was just going to destroy them tonight. My friend Zach was preaching. He was trying to boast about his wife and how amazing she was. Gas her up and she's so great. She's he meant to say she is this incredible breadwinner. She makes a lot of money or something like that. And I don't know why he was talking about that in hindsight. But he's my wife is the best breadwinner ever. And everybody just goes, ooh, that didn't sound good. A few weeks ago, legit, if you were at church, Mark Arendt was giving this maybe tops them all for me. He was giving like a commissioning of our friend who's moving to Spain to be a missionary, and he like it sounded like he outed them as pregnant, but they're not. And so the confusion of like, yeah, what did he say? He said something like, yeah, and they're two little girls, and like, I don't know if he said expecting more or like they're growing family, more to come, or like everyone was like, oh my gosh, are Austin and Ellie pregnant? And did Mark just say that before they were supposed to? And they weren't pregnant. But they got a lot of awkward conversations after that service for sure. You don't have to be impressive. And guys, if I run into you in 10 years, and I want to make this solemn vow to you tonight. If I run into you in 10 years, and let's say that what you've done with your life in 10 years is you are working the graveyard shift at that Quick Star down there, and nobody is impressed with you, and your family is like, what are you doing? College degree, and you are doing that, but you love Jesus more than you do now. I promise to you that I will be so impressed by that, and I will celebrate with you, because that's what matters, okay? Faithfulness, not amazingness, okay? You know what else would bum me out? Not just a lack of humility, but life is going to start filling up for you guys with like important things. Like the older you get, like the more important and weighty everything is going to feel. And what's kind of crazy is as you start filling your life with important things, the first thing to go is friendship. It seems to be the easiest thing to sacrifice, to get rid of. And so one time, like a friend moved back into Iowa City or something after a short stint away, and they're like, man, I just wanted to move back. I just missed it here so much. Beautiful Iowa City, right? And I was like, oh, of course you did. It's the friendship capital of the world. And I said that, I was like, it kind of has a nice ring to it. Friendship capital of the world. And that joke kind of started to stick a little bit. And we started to kind of like make fun of Iowa City by also like complimenting it and like kind of also simultaneously like thanking God for the culture he's given this place and this church of like, you know what, maybe this is the friendship capital of the world. And it's like kind of just taken on a life of its own to say that. But even though it's kind of a joke, the sentiment is true that friendship matters. And I think it matters especially in a world where there's, bosses and employees and organizational charts that are in your future, but Jesus, our Lord and Savior, calls us his friend. There's something about that has to start to change us a little bit. How kind must he be to make us these creatures who need friendship, who thrive by having fun together? He didn't have to do that. But here we are. And it would bum me out so much if we ran into each other in the future at our little hypothetical reunion I'm talking about, and we were more lonely than ever. And the friendship that we have now right here was just like described as the good old days, and it proves that this whole like lofty idealism that we talk about friendship, it was definitely just a college experience, a 4-year experiment that adults grow out of. And so my real bummer would be that if the friendship capital of the world thing was nothing but a myth. If all the stuff we talked about and cared about with friendship, if that just was a fad, that would bum me out. And so let me show you a picture of some really, really impressive people in my life. This is at my bachelor party last summer, okay? These are my groomsmen, and I think that's all of them. And, great game, great night in Kansas City. Let me tell you a little bit about this. Let me tell you why I want to show you guys this. First off, if you lock like 10 guys in a room, which this sounds like a torture experiment, but seriously, if you lock like 10 guys in a room with like no furniture, no toys, no windows, nothing, I guarantee this group would have more fun than any group of 10 guys that you could ever put into a room. We might even try that. As I was thinking about that, I was like, that sounds kind of fun actually, to be locked in a room with this group with nothing but their senses of humor and friendship. So if somebody, I don't know how we can like measure that or compete in that, but I'd love to try that someday. Very fun crew there. But get this, okay, up here, This is why one of the reasons I want to show you this. We have my old connection group leader. We got a couple guys that I led in D group. I was his freshman group leader. I didn't even go to school with that guy. That's my brother-in-law. Did I already say that? That guy golfs a lot. I don't golf. That one's kind of mean. That one should be a pop star singing on tour around the world. It's crazy that, I think sometimes we get in here and we start to think about our friendships in such siloed off ways. These are my friends because this is my connection group, or these are my friends because this is what I just say, okay, this is our group chat, and now we're just going to be stuck here. This is my friend group, we might call it. And at least once a year, I have a rant on the word friend group and how much I don't like that word. I love the word friendship, and I hate the word friend group. The moment I call this my friend group is the moment that you're not invited, right? The moment that I call this my friend group is the moment that they're not allowed to leave, and it becomes like a little cult. This is that's the moment where you feel like all of a sudden you are other than. It doesn't mean you're all allowed to be my groomsmen, but it does mean that word, I think, causes more harm than good. But what I was so blessed by this group in particular is just there were no rules. Just because one was my C group leader and I was another one's leader, that doesn't mean there's this authority over me forever, right? These were men that we spent a crazy amount of time together and grew to love one another and trust one another. Guys, my charge to you with your friendships as you leave is stop drawing lines just for the sake of it. Stop cutting people out for the sake of your own comfort. Be an outward-facing group that loves not just each other but other people around you. Get rid of that friend group word. And the second reason I want to have this up here, there's a secret sauce to this, and it's really, really simple. Something that you can't see. And it's really simple. It's Jesus. The thing you can't see up here, the thing that matters the most, is Jesus. There are 12 plus years of confessed sin represented in that picture, of preaching the gospel to one another when we need it. That group represents new salvation, including my, oops, sorry. That's what I see. I get violent when I start to cry. Shoot, I did it. Sorry, Ellie. She told me don't growl. She didn't say don't punch the music stand. Yeah. Yep. How long's it been quiet? Yeah. Got to see my best friend come to Christ. That's all I was trying to say. And so my charge to you guys in this is go with your friends to the cross often. Confess sin to one another, encourage one another, and forgive one another like Jesus would forgive you. And that's what the world wants. That's what you were made for. The whole friendship capital of the world thing, is stupid as it sounds. It's not a myth. It's not some idealistic way just to look at Iowa City in your good old college days. The truth is that the friendship capital of the world is wherever God's people are. There's nothing unique happening here. We're just trying to do what Jesus said to do 2,000 years ago. That's it. The friendship capital of the world is wherever God's people are. Ministry is relationships. It's something you'll hear a million times here. And Jesus designed relationships to be so fun, guys. Embrace the inefficiency and the mess that people bring. Enjoy one another. Be inconvenienced by one another. Love one another. Serve one another. I hope at this hypothetical reunion that we have that we can just compete. Who's having more fun? Tell me about your friends. What's it like? What are they like? You can take that down. I look forward to that conversation. And so far, we're doing great, guys. We're moving right along. My first ever sermon at Salt Company when I was just out of college on a Thursday night was like 55 minutes. It was terrible. And so I'm going to get out of here before that, I promise you. But we're doing great. We've covered humility and we've covered friendship. Two things that are very important with this. Another subtle poison, I think, that threatens us, and it's a lack of contentment. A lack of contentment. Verse 2, it says, this sounds kind of weird, okay, but I can explain. It says, instead, David says, I've calmed, instead of being like all arrogant, I've actually calmed and quieted my soul like a weaned child with its mother. My soul is like a weaned child. Weird metaphor, but think of like a baby, okay? Think of a baby. Baby cries. Why does the baby cry? Anybody know? He's hungry, okay? Baby cries because he's hungry, but then the baby is weaned off the teat and he has everything he needs, okay? He's full, he's mature. But notice something in this weaned child with its mother. Just because the baby has grown to be content and full doesn't mean that once he got what he wanted from the mother, the baby just like leaves. Now that I'm old and mature, I'm just gone. It's with its mother. It's like this fullness and this contentment. It's not just, you gave me what I wanted out of you and now I'm done with you. It's, now I just have you. That's what he's saying. That's what he's describing his soul life. Enjoying the presence of the mother, that should be us with our God. Right? Mature children who have been filled and enjoy the presence of God. But is that true about you? Is that true about me? Is that going to be true about us? Right? I think this verse, as kind of weird as it might seem at first, it's a warning to us. It's a challenge for us like a test for us. Like, what do you actually want more, God or a blessing from God? Like, why are you actually here, guys? Is it so that you will get better grades if you pray more and so that you can actually get the job and more money because you like kind of added Jesus into your life? Or that you'll be like just a better athlete or something, or just, I don't know. Are you here just to meet somebody? To kind of get a girlfriend or a boyfriend and then get married and have the family? Like, are you using Jesus as a stepping stone at what you actually worship? Or are you here because you're just like, I think I just love Jesus. Is that enough? Yeah, man, that is enough. That's it. That's what we're talking about. That's contentment. That's what David is describing his life as like. I've seen so many people, guys, countless amounts of people come in here and get what they want and leave. And you can just tell over the years that they were here for the husband or the wife because Jesus has nothing to do with their life anymore. I've seen people get a lot of money in their life and they haven't felt the need to pray in years because their hope and their contentment is in just more money and more possessions. Here's my warning to you guys. Be careful of getting what you want. I don't want to run into you at our reunion to realize this, that you got what you always wanted and you are less happy than ever. You know what was one of the craziest things that marked my time in Iowa City? One of the most impactful things I don't really feel like talking about, but like, hey, why not? It was singleness. Yeah, I was just like the single guy for so long. I tried not to be. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't break out of it. Don't know what was wrong. God didn't have it for me for a long time. And I remember just warring over that. But guess what happened? My 30th birthday was coming up. And I was still single. When I was in year C, I always made fun of the upper 20s guy who is single and still in Veritas. I thought they were freaks. Something was wrong with them. And then I became the monster I swore to destroy, right? And I am there, and my 30th birthday comes, and I wake up on my 30th birthday, and I was still single, and guess what? I lived. It didn't kill me. Isn't that crazy? Like, I didn't get what I wanted, and I was alive. Sometimes you got to say the obvious things just to prove how crazy it is that we think. I didn't feel like I was going to make it, but I did. It didn't kill me. And guess what else happened? Now being married and looking back on that, Jesus was the same when I was single to when I'm married. He hasn't changed a lick. That's incredible. And here's my point and why I'm bringing all that up. I'm not just trying to tell you that singleness is great or anything. No, but it is a gift for the time being, however long you have it. But my bigger point is this. Jesus plus nothing does equal everything, right? I think a lot of us, we come in here and it's just like maybe Jesus added to my life will get me what I actually want, but that's just bad math. Jesus plus nothing does equal everything. And I just want to tell you guys to not let your love for Jesus hinge on whether or not you get that thing in your life. If Jesus is first in your heart, then you have everything you need. And that is amazing. It's good news that we as Christians, we really don't need that much to be happy. And that just takes a lot of pressure off of us to be content like a weaned baby. So just really practically, guys, if you're going through that right now where it's like, I've been begging God for stuff all throughout my college time, and I don't have it, and I'm almost done. Maybe that's you. Been there. I get it. Practice gratitude. Go to Philippians 4 and see how it's like, hey, you should be asking God for things, but you should be doing it with gratitude. And God's peace will be right behind, guarding your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Be thankful in every season you have, guys. Be thankful that because you have Jesus, you have everything. And you can go through the highest highs and the lowest lows with him because he does not change and he is going absolutely nowhere. What if, guys, when we are retelling all of our life updates and we talk about those high mountaintops, we talk about those valleys of death and shadows that are coming in our lives, what if we talked about them with like that spark of contentment in our eyes? That we actually believed one another that we were truly happy. And we don't have what we want yet maybe, but we do have Jesus. And we want him more than anything. That would be awesome. And so guys, we made it to the end here, and I have one more thing to tell you. Verse 3 is beautiful. It's like almost David like changing the plea, just like a charge to his people, to God's people, saying, Israel, put your hope in the Lord both now and forevermore. And I feel what David felt as he wrote this. He wanted something for his people that he loved. He wanted it bad. He wanted them to never lose hope, to never give up, to never fall away from the Lord, to not stop worshiping him. And I want that for you. I don't want to come to that reunion, to run into you and to hear this, that you've moved on from following Jesus. I don't want that. Again, at our discipleship group finale last night, one of the guys asked me, dude, how do we not become people who fall away? And I feel like there's a lot of answers I could give. I feel like I could tell you guys, read your Bibles more. Like I could tell you guys to be more spiritually disciplined. I could tell you guys to don't just come to Salt Company, become a Salt leader. Like get involved in the church more. Like get into kids on Sundays. Like start becoming a member. I could tell you all these things that are really, really good and really, really true. Like you want your faith to come alive, share it with somebody else. Those are all true. And maybe you should do those, but those aren't the main reason that you're not going to fall away from Jesus. The reason you're not going to fall away from Jesus, it all comes back to the grace of God. How are you saved, guys? What drew you to Jesus in the first place? It wasn't this. This is all going to be gone. It wasn't me. I'm going to be gone. It was his grace. It was him doing something crazy to prove to you that he could actually change you and that he could actually save you and that he could actually rewrite your direction forever. And it's when he got on the cross that you knew it was real. And you knew he meant every word he said, and you knew that he really loved you. And it wasn't just that, it was the power behind that. It was the reality that if you put your faith in him, there is this crazy reality that happens, that God can actually treat you like he treats his own son. That God can actually look at you as if you lived the life that Jesus lived. Perfect. Do you guys know that? That if you put your hope in the Lord, now and forever, God will treat you as if you have never sinned. And not just that, but that you have done everything right. And even as you go and you don't live like that, you will never out-sin the grace of Jesus. So if you're wondering, how do I not fall away? You need the cross with that magnetism of grace to pull you back again and again and again. So I've said a lot of stuff tonight. I had a lot to get off my chest in that really short psalm. But ultimately, if I could just say one more thing, it's just that. I look forward to seeing you guys some point in this life or in eternity and knowing that you followed Jesus to the very end. Because I'm going to. Where else would we go, man? Let me pray. Father, I remember January of 2013 going into the upstairs of the Hotel Vetro and worshiping with a small group of people called Salt Company and hearing about grace. And feeling like, yeah, this is a place I need to be because I think I need that. And I would, be missing out to not take advantage of this, to be just saying that word again and again and again. It is all about the grace of Jesus. And so, Lord, I pray tonight that you would move in power, that this night, as sloppy and kind of messy as I am, that people would walk away here being like, I think I just saw Jesus tonight. And he wasn't on the stage, and but I see him, and I want that. I think I want that. And God, I want that for them so bad. This is my home, Jesus. You gave me this place to call home and to love, and it shouldn't be this good. It shouldn't be. I shouldn't have this, and I don't deserve this. I don't deserve people making T-shirts with my face on it. It's so weird. There's so many of them here, but I don't deserve it, God, but I'll take it. And I pray that this room will be humble, that this room would value friendship, that this room would be content when they have Jesus and nothing else, or that when they have Jesus and everything else, that they would still have Jesus first in their life, God, and I pray that this room would follow you till the very end. And I pray that when they look back at Salt Company, they only have one thought. They say, I barely remember salt, but I only remember one thing: grace. So Lord, do what we can't do. Save us and keep us. Fill us with joy and love for one another. And as we reunite randomly across our lives in this room, or we come across each other 1,000 years into the future, I pray that we have a lot of wonderful things to tell about what God has done. And that'll be enough for us, God. Thank you.